everyone, welcome to Triple T Thursday. That's tips, tricks, tutorials, and I'm your host, Shelly Saves the Day, and I'm excited to chat with you all today. It might get spicy. It probably will get spicy. We're talking about people's livelihoods, okay, or some not so much. But let's have a chat about this. We're going to be discussing invalid traffic on YouTube. Ooh, I know. It's a spicy subject, y'all. And I had screenshots. Did I save them? That would have been a smart thing to do. Probably didn't save them. I will look on my phone though. It's just which device did I save them to, right? I saved them as screenshots, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's start at the very beginning. What's in your cup today, people? I am knocking things around. I am back today on my tea train. It is the Pike Place Market Awake English Breakfast Tea. So I'm excited for that. Adam says, I am sipping on Poland Springs water. I would have guessed that. Absolutely. I would have guessed that. And, you know who else I want to talk about this with? It was on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Okay. I just won't do it. Hey, Johnny Bean in the house. What's in your cup today? What's in your cup, man? Tell me all about it. All right. So I want to talk about invalid traffic. First of all, we're going to talk a little bit. What is it? How do you avoid it? What has been going on this last 8 months or so? What are some ramblings from around the web? Jordan Lopez, that's a name and avatar I haven't seen. First of all, you change your avatar, which makes sense because it's been a very, very long time since I've seen you. It's nice to see you, okay? And a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this, and this chat, I'm sure, will be no exception. And for that, I want to encourage you. I do want you to chat about it and put your thoughts, opinions, all of that stuff in the chat because I want to have an actual conversation with you about this, okay? So I'm going to have this here so we can talk about it. So a lot of people know that if you are on YouTube and you're fully in the partner program and you are eligible to make ad revenue on your videos, that the amount that you get paid could vary greatly. And it can be dependent on the time of the year because it can be dependent on the type of niche that you're in. And one of the things that they call is CPM, which is cost per mille, and mille is referring to 1,000. Okay. So the cost that advertisers are basically paying, and then there's the RPM, which is the revenue that you're actually getting, right? So a lot of the times in the past, you would hear people talking about what is your CPM? What's your CPM? And it would be interesting because there would be a wide gamut, sometimes educational and tech channels, maybe not as much as like a beauty and fashion or not as much as the financial type, right? And then there could be something a lot of the time like gaming, which wasn't really making a lot of money in CPM wise. And also they're very saturated, but they were making sometimes in fan funding and other, but I digress. What was that? Oh, I think that's a real life doorbell. That scared the bejesus out of me, and also my dogs are now going to investigate. Okay, so I'm gonna have to ignore it. Sorry. So there was how much you were getting paid, not only from advertisers and the revenue that you're taking home, right? One of us. Marcus, I saw your stream today. It was lovely to catch you for that. All right. So with advertisers paying to place videos, not on specific creators a lot of the time, but in specific types of genres and types of videos and whatnot, you would have this symbiotic, you would think, relationship between YouTube, advertiser, creator, correct? You have creators making money, advertisers spending money, advertisers hopefully getting money and returns back from being on videos of maybe an demographic or a group that they're trying to target, and then, you know, hopefully getting some return back on that. And then, so everyone is getting a chunk of this and sharing together, okay? Now, what happened, there have been a few different times in the history, right, of YouTube where something has happened where the advertisers have been like, no, that's not cool. I don't like the way that this is happening. One of those was going to be after kind of like the Logan Paul incident, right? And a lot of advertisers were like, whoa, we don't want to have a lot of our money on this platform that is completely volatile right now. And that was a big deal for a lot of advertisers pulling out and a lot of creators not making as much money. Another thing that happened was when we had like the Elsa Gate and the children's kappa, and one of us, come get this commentary. Kiva, great to see you. Thank you so much for being a channel member. And channel members, I'm so excited to say that as of 2 days ago, YouTube has released the ability, and I was going to talk about this anyway, the ability to have members only shorts as well. So I actually am super excited about this because I want to make a whole bunch of shorts that are only for YouTube channel members. So maybe behind the scenes, answering questions. I'm really excited about this because I can go on there, make a quick 60-second short just for you. And I'm so excited about it. And so I saw that you had commented on that last video and I'm really excited about it. So yes. And also you get some cool fun emote stickers that you get to use, like including my dogs. So aren't the dogs cute? Oh, is that my friend Stanley? Is that my friend Stanley in the chat? TubeBuddy in the house, right? It is difficult to get a lot of information, right, about it. And I'm not saying mine is the most complete information. I'm not saying it is the most valid information, but we're going to chat about it. And I really want to hear your all opinions, thoughts, and stuff on this, okay? So the other thing that we talked about is the second time kind of adpocalypse had happened, right? We had a lot of stuff with the children's stuff. And a lot of them pulled out from doing a lot of online advertising as well. And it dried up for a lot of people for a lot of time. And for some people, they haven't recovered. And some people, they actually shut down teams, shut down channels. It was a lot, okay? So, oh, it is Stanley. Hi, BFF. You know, I smile every time I see not only your logo, but know that it's you because you're such a good dude. And I miss you, even though we don't talk a lot. You're still always my BFF. Okay, so one of the things that they're doing, right, when we're talking about CPM is they're looking at the advertisers, and the advertisers are kind of fronting this bill. But then what happens when they're saying like, hey, by the way, we're not paying for this because we don't think that this is like real traffic. We don't think these are real people. Maybe we've got a whole bunch of reasons why, or like we're seeing weird things in patterns, and like a lot of the time, like we're not getting our money's worth. We're not going to pay. So then YouTube is like, oh shoot, because, well, they're saying more than that, right? Because advertisers is how they make their money for the most part, right? Most of the time. And if the advertisers are saying, we're not going to pay for this, but they've already done the advertising, YouTube is giving that percentage to the creators as well. There's no money to give creators, or right? They've been paying creators, but then they're just in a loss because they're actually not getting paid for it. So then what do? They go tell the creators, we can't give you this money because the advertisers didn't pay us, right? Now, one of the things that I think I hear the most is the lack of transparency. And we're going to get into this about the lack of transparency when it comes to, well, what video? Where's the traffic coming from? From what country? How are you determining that this is not valid? Okay. And that's where it really falls down, because what they give you is going to be information in a help article that's very generic. But I digress. We will talk about those even generic things, at least for the people at the surface level who have never gotten that far. And then we're going to take it into a deeper dive conversation after that. So I'm going to jump into the comments real quick and say, excited for member shirts. I am so excited for them too. Thank you for being a member. I know you guys don't get a lot except for some cool stickers. Well, I think they're cool, but I am going to bombard you with shorts if you want it. Okay. TubeBuddy, you keep advertising, so I'm here. Oh, did you advertise? Is that why I have more than 10 people here? That is rare. So thank you for that. Sorry, you're late at the casino. Ooh, no apologies ever. It's so strange when YouTube informs channels of invalid traffic. They give them like no information. Exactly. And I wonder if it's bad actors attacking channels. And that could possibly be one. But let's talk about this. One of the reasons that I also want to bring this up again, I know my friend Nick Nimmin has gotten his third, and we're going to talk about that as well as some of the responses that YouTube has come up with. But let's dive into the surface level stuff here, right? By the way, if we have more than 10 people here in the chat, can I get a thumbs up on this live stream? Because I always like to try and hit double digits. That would make me immensely happy. All right. Thank you so much. Regular show flow, regular video flow. I just want to make sure that this is right. Yes, that's all correct. Okay, excellent. That's what I wanted. Okay, so tried to answer your members only short with a short of my own, but couldn't. I don't know if you can do that. And you know what's funny is I couldn't even comment on my own short, even when I was logged in as me. So I don't know if that was a weird thing on mobile only, or if I can only do it from desktop. We'll take a peek at that, but I'm very excited for that. So it says, our systems are regularly reviewing traffic on videos, and they're trying to figure out if traffic is valid. They do the same when they're looking at, are you getting enough traffic and view hours for monetization? They're doing that, right? Sometimes when people will be like, my views went down, right? What happened there? A lot of the time it can take a little bit sometimes for them to validate that all of the traffic is accurate, correct, and reflective of what it's supposed to be. So it says, invalid traffic is any activity on your channel that doesn't come from a real user or a user with genuine interest. So those are two different things. Not a real viewer or not a viewer with genuine interest. So it can include, but it is not limited to fraudulent, artificial, or even unintentional ways to boost ad revenue for videos. And I love this one. It's like unintentional ways of boosting ad revenue for videos. So you could also potentially get dinged if you've ever seen like some of the scammy sounding, let me help you with your SEO, let me help you with getting more views, types of emails sometimes you get, sometimes on LinkedIn, sometimes just different DMs on different socials, right? And I saw an example of it today. I think my friend Meredith Marsh got one, like, your videos suck. This is the email that was sent to her. Your videos suck. Let me help you with them. And she's just like, do people always think that insulting me is the best way to... Anyways, so it says, if we find invalid traffic may affect your channel, even if you're not intentionally driving it. So here's what I think is interesting about that. Even if you're not intentionally doing bad things, you could still be being hit with consequences for stuff that either you don't know you're doing, unintentionally doing, right? So that's menacing enough in itself. So this is a lesson to everyone that it would behoove you to read the terms and conditions, to read the updated materials that they send out, to read the documentation that they have about things, because they're going to hold you to the standard. Whether you are intentionally or not intentionally breaking the rules, they're like, well, you agreed to our terms of service. You need to know all this stuff. Okay. So it says, if we find that your AdSense for YouTube account is associated with invalid traffic, we may disable your account. So some people have been disabled. Some people have been greatly reduced. Some people have been kicked out of the AdSense program. And when that happens, any accounts that you have associated with that same AdSense account, none of them get monetized. And since you can only have one per like social security number, you can't open another AdSense account. So if your AdSense account gets closed, that's really, really not good. Okay. So disabling your account protects our platform for creators, advertisers, and viewers. By protecting our advertising systems against invalid traffic, advertisers can be confident investing in YouTube, which helps creators like you monetize your content. So again, they're saying if we're starting to detect some of this stuff, we're going to turn it off proactively, preemptively, because we're trying to assure who are their real bosses, the advertisers. We're trying to say it's safe. You can advertise with us. We're going to take care of things. Okay. And so if you think about it, the creator economy and the creators on YouTube are secondary. Yes, you need us, but there's always a whole bunch of people coming in to make content. But, well, there's always an influx of people making bad content. But they need creators to have content. But even if they don't have a lot more creators making content, they're still always going to need to advertise. Does that make sense? So they need advertisers, and advertisers need to have a pool of videos that they can bet on, you know what I mean, advertise on. But if that pool is 5 million versus 3 million, you know what I mean? It's not as big a deal as if like one person says, you know, all of Disney and all of those properties aren't going to advertise. Like, we're talking billions of dollars versus like we take a few million creators out. So interesting, right? So advertisers are not going to want to pay for things, right? If you got a lot of penny pinchers out there and they're always looking at the ROI, or the return on investment. They're saying if we advertise $100 or 100,000 or $100 million on YouTube and digital creators, what are we getting back? What's the return on investment? And not only that, if then they start to sense like, hey, I just paid $100 million and yes, I may have gotten money, but I could have gotten more money, or I'm paying for clicks that aren't even real clicks. Therefore, those customers aren't converting. They're not buying my product. I'm not making money off of them. I'm not making as much money as I could. I'm not paying for that fake traffic. You're just doing that to artificially like inflate that view so that I get charged for advertising, but I'm not getting and reaping the reward because it's not a real person, or it's not a real person who's genuinely interested, right? So then they're coming along and being like, no, I'm not paying for that. And then YouTube is just kind of like in this rock and a hard place because it's like, well, creator, we said that we would give you money and we'd split it, but what happens when the advertisers take all the money away? I can't split zero with zero. You know what I mean? So there's that. So it says, can your account be reinstated after being disabled for invalid traffic? Some people are getting dinged multiple times. Some people are seeing the money come back and then it goes away again. So I know for Nick, he was saying like, I saw it, I had it for a few months and then it went away and then it came back, right? And some people, it just doesn't come back. Or after they get hit, they don't see it recover. And so it has been limiting for a lot of people, okay? So, there is an appeal process. There is an actual appeal form that you can fill in. But from what I saw online, I saw that some people who had filled out the form, that it ended up going to the dark web, for lack of a better term, and that it just like never got resolved. So they were like, we filled out the form. We filled out the entire form that you told us to, and nothing happened. So let me also see if I can put it in the comment here. This is if you have been hit with an invalid traffic notice, this is the form that you can fill out to start a case with YouTube to fight this or appeal this. Okay. So what are we saying here? Renee Ritchie was talking about this, said that advertisers don't want to pay for ads for invalid. Absolutely. So YouTube isn't getting paid either. Exactly. They cut off both. So it's a hard issue for YouTube to fix. Absolutely. And then it says, I thought there was a way that creator could turn off traffic source has been, since I heard and forgot. That's a whole, you can turn off certain things. Like you can't do embedding with my videos, or you can't do certain things. But it's like the people who also tried to be like, I wanted to only show to people in the United States because that's, you can't necessarily geographically control where it goes out to once it's out. So it's definitely difficult. So Lizzie B says they request SS to get monetized for ads. I don't know what that means. So you're going to have to explain yourself farther before I can answer or / respond to that. So you can appeal. I did link the form. If you are someone who has received an invalid traffic notice and you see it on your YouTube studio inside of the desktop version, step 1, fill out the claim. Okay. You must maintain that you and anyone that is responsible has not indirectly or directly caused invalid traffic. Okay. And it says, when we receive your appeal, we will review it. Hopefully a human should review it. Okay. And we will carefully review the information and provide you a final decision. Note that there's no guarantee that your account will be reinstated. And after we've reached a decision, you can't appeal again. So it's a one and done appeal type thing. Okay. Social Security. They request, when you are filling out your AdSense information, you usually will either have to provide, I believe, either like the EIN for your LLC or something, or your company, or you're going to have to provide like your personal, tax information, because when you receive a certain amount of money over a certain amount, you will receive like a 1099 at the end of the year. And so for that tax document, they have to have all of your credentials and information. And that's all done through AdSense. So yeah, you will need that information to be paid out because they need to know also where we're going to send the money and like that kind of thing. Are you based in the United States or in a country that is eligible for YPP enrollment, that kind of stuff. So they have to do that. So some tips if you do have to go through and write an invalid traffic appeal. Oh goodness, we're having an Amber Alert right now. Okay, I'm sorry if you guys hear that. There's a missing child, for what it's worth, in Everett, Washington. Okay, so there are the examples of invalid traffic, so we're going to talk about that too. And then, could anyone have clicked your ads too many times? Did you buy traffic that led to a surge of invalid traffic? Can you make content or behavioral changes to prevent the invalid traffic from happening again? So remember when I was saying some of those people who are advertising their services, SEO services, and all that services for YouTube or YouTube channel management, some of these people, some of them will go out and they will buy views, subscribers, whatever in certain amounts because they want to illustrate to you that their service is working. Look at this. Because you hired me, I got you 5,000 more views. I got you, ever since you hired me, 1,000 more subscribers have come in, something like that. And some creators don't understand that what they're really doing is you pay them some money, they take some of that money, they go buy your views and subscribers, they pocket the rest of the money as their service fee, and you get an increase in traffic thinking, oh my gosh, this guy's really, or gal is really doing their job. And they are the ones who are purchasing this invalid traffic, which could actually lead to your channel either being demonetized or greatly reduced in monetization. So this happens more than you would think. It absolutely does happen. And it's one of those unbeknownst to the creator when you say, what are you going to do to increase my SEO? And they give you some BS about, we're going to do this with your tags and we're going to get your score up to whatever. And okay, a lot of the time they're just going to go off and buy fake traffic for you. So in the invalid activity appeal form, you will share the email that's associated with your disabled AdSense. One word of advice is always to have a separate email for your AdSense than what is associated with your YouTube channel. I always like to have them separate, completely separate, just for safety and security purposes, okay? It's not always the best to have one email that controls them all like that, okay? Now, sharing the email in the form does help them with the account verification and reducing delays in processing the appeal. And you want to identify any potential reasons for invalid traffic on your videos. So, and also share how you will make sure that invalid traffic won't happen again. And you have to give as much possible info and explanation with your case. You say, for example, tell us if you've purchased traffic from a third party to grow your audience. Share how you've discontinued work with this third party or person and will not work with third parties for channel promotion in the future. But here's the thing is if you don't know, yeah. Okay. So if the account was disabled and the appeal was denied, they're not going to let you back in. And they're not allowed any further participation in AdSense. So they can't open new accounts. You can't open new YouTube channels. You can, but you won't get to monetize them. And Google still is going to reserve the right, even if you try and circumvent their system in some way, to shut you down. Okay. So, and they're saying invalid traffic from any source. So why was my account disabled? For being related to another disabled account, right? So if a related account has been disabled, the specialists find that your account poses a risk to creators, viewers, and advertisers, so you could get shut down too. So if your account is also disabled for invalid traffic, you may or may not be eligible for a final payment for the portion of the revenue that has been identified as valid. So you get taken away all of the credit that you would have gotten for all the invalid traffic if they determine that you still have enough that would be valid, okay? Then you could get paid. Now, upon the account disablement, they have a holding period. you have the 30-day wait where they're going to keep going through the numbers and seeing like, do you deserve this? All that kind of stuff. And then they use that time to calculate your final payment if you even qualify at all. So following the 30-day period, you can then find out what your remaining balance is if you're eligible to be paid. Okay. And the deductions from the final balance for invalid traffic and creator policy violations will be refunded to affected advertisers when appropriate and possible. I don't even know. So they're giving extra money back to the advertiser. I don't know. Okay. And then it says, do I get a tax form for the payments I've received? And they said, you might get a tax payment if you received a payment from us in the past, or you made a payable balance remaining in your account. So when they say my account's reinstated, so how come I'm not getting ads? They're saying after reinstatement, it could still take 48 hours for ads to be showing up on your account again. Okay. So comments, questions, concerns so far that we have. So let's talk about this. Types of invalid traffic. And I know that many people have gotten hit with this. I remember Daniel Batal did an entire Twitter thread going on about this. I know that, Nick has been talking about it a lot. I know that Roberto has been talking about it a lot. There are a lot of people that have been talking about this for a very long time. And the thing that seems to be most frustrating to the creators is just YouTube won't say anything other than these canned responses, and they won't be specific. Which video? What kind of traffic? Help me understand, because most of the creators, I'm saying most, they seem to genuinely want to figure out what is happening, what is going on, and how do I fix this? How did this happen to me? How do I fix it? But just receiving some of these blanket generic advice pieces that they're hearing isn't helpful to them. And so they're really struggling and having a hard time with this. Okay. So let's talk about some of the invalid traffic types. Okay. Number one is going to be bot traffic. And that's not only BOT, like the little robots, but BOUGHT, like you bought it with your money. Okay. You bought the bots. How about that? So anything with automated scripts, programs designed to artificially increase the number of views, likes, comments, ad clicks on a video. So programming, automated tasks to run to artificially increase your views. That one's pretty clear. Click farms, which is again part of kind of what you see with some of those let me help you with your SEO services. Sometimes they're purchasing from these click farms, and that's literally people in a whole room sitting at a bunch of desks with phones just lined up on a wall, just watching YouTube on every single device, liking a video. And so you're purchasing real views, let's say from a real person, but it's manipulated in this way where people aren't genuinely interested in it. They just are given a list of videos to watch, and they make sure to like it, or they play it through, or whatever else it is. So it's an entire, not warehouse, but it's a farm. It's essentially people lined up to just click. It's crazy when you have Googled these images and videos. Just people like random. It's not random. Let me be clear. People very meticulously going through and like hitting all of these. Like it could be like 30 phones lined up in front of them, all watching YouTube, all going to specific videos, all doing these same types of actions, right? So, and YouTube is pretty smart where it knows like, hey, normal traffic on a video like this, they might watch 30 seconds in and then hit the like button. They might rewind at a certain part to see something. And you start to aggregate this data over time and see some of these familiar patterns. But if what you have is, within 2 seconds of landing on the video, you get a thumbs up and you watch it all the way through, you never rewind, and so on and so forth, where it starts to become more pieces of the puzzle where you're like, well, that's suspicious. That's weird. And when they start to recognize like this is not normal behavior, like you would see a related video versus go on to the next one in the list or something like that, right? When you're like, that's weird. That's not the behavior that a normal human or genuinely interested individual would take. Then there are algorithms and, things in place to kind of be like, hey, alert, okay? Accidental clicks, Okay. Unintentional interactions with ads, often resulting from unclear website or app design. Okay. So I think, first of all, that is a problem with the ads team and ads the way that they've been implemented. If they had the pop-over banner ad and they hid the little X to get out of it behind a very dark black banner so you couldn't find it, and you were just like clicking all around and like accidentally then opening some web page because you could never figure out where to click, something like that, they might start to look at that. And I would be like, well, why are you punishing the creator? The creator, one, didn't choose that ad most of the time. I would think the design of that ad was the problem. I would think the person who designed that ad should be the one. Anyways, I digress. Okay. So Stanley says, also with bot farms, if they actually watch the video, then YouTube gives them the impression of future vids that they don't watch. Correct. Which signals YouTube that subsequent videos are duds. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. So then we have manipulative clicks. Okay. So clicks on ads or interactions with content like views or likes generated by the creator or their associates to boost engagement artificially. I have seen this. And I hesitate, I don't want to name names, okay? But I have seen this in the past where during Christmas, I had seen people say something along the lines of, hey, even if you can't make a purchase through my affiliate link, which doesn't cost you extra, can you at least, make sure you watch the ads or click on them or, blah, 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 all this stuff. So when you're physically telling people, click this ad, do this thing, help me out, that's actually not something that you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to say to people like, so this one particular individual said, I'm running a fundraiser. And so please watch my videos as much as possible. Fine, not a problem. Please click and watch the ads. And whatever I get in AdSense for this month, I will double it and donate it to this charity. Okay. So technically that was a violation of terms of service because you're not supposed to tell people that they need to interact with your ads or to do it as emotionally manipulate them to participate. Because if they weren't genuinely interested in not going to click those ads, you're not supposed to tell them, please do this for me as a fundraiser. Hopefully you guys are kind of understanding the distinction there. Please tell me that you are. Leave a thumbs up in the comment section or say hashtag I understand. I don't know, something like that. And it's a manipulated click. Okay. It wasn't, oh, I was interested. It was, please watch this. I'm raising money and this is how you can support me. When you say that in those terms, then it became a violation. Okay. You're not supposed to do that. So then there's recycled traffic where it says, if you're using misleading tactics to drive users back to YouTube content or ads repeatedly, yes. So you're not supposed to. One of the things that have gotten people, which is sometimes bad advice from YouTube themselves, so they need to be clear on this. I have seen people from YouTube say, it's fine to re-upload your own content. And this kind of in particular, I'm talking about with shorts. And so what you saw were a lot of people recycling all their shorts. And what they were trying to say before is, well, you should wait 30 days and then repost. You should do this. Like if you had one that performed really well, post it again. But they're supposed to give them some time, not post it every day. Because they said when you recycle your content like this and you are you are intentionally, let's say you have this viral video, you know that this video does very well because it already went viral once. You keep posting same said video. This could also be the same with long, with just like maybe not even changing anything or taking out one frame so it's slightly different. When you take all of that recycled content because you know that it performs well, it's actually kind of manipulating the system, obviously, right, to get more engagement. And so therefore it's not like it's new content for advertisers to be on. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, just continually recycling and re-uploading the same content, repeat, is actually kind of a violation. And not only that, but it can get you demonetized for a separate thing that they call reused content. So they just are calling it a new name, recycled content here. So all of this is going to be, though, a problem when you have the advertisers who are now like saying, I'm not paying for this traffic. YouTube is left like, well, there's no money to give to the creators. Creators are pissed because obviously they're used to making a certain amount of money, or it was like kind of predictable, but also let this be a lesson that we're always looking to diversify our income. But if it's no fault of your own and you have no idea how to stop like the bleeding, how to stop the damn water, without poking your finger at it or just like randomly poking, how is that helpful to anybody, right? So then you have all these creators who stop uploading content because they're like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to get paid for it. And it's, I'm sorry, but most of the time people are creating content so that they can get views, or they're paying teams, or they obviously want to make money. Okay. So how YouTube is going to be finding out this information? One, okay, they're looking for automated detection. Now, I have a personal bone to pick with the people of the internet. I posted in my community tab. I posted it on LinkedIn. I posted it on Twitter. And I think I posted it like most of the places. I put it on Instagram stories. I said out of the 1.2 billion comments that were removed from the YouTube platform in the last 3 months of 2023, how many of them were actually done by a human, and how many were actually, how many were done by a human? And the answer was like 4.25 million, okay, which was 0.4, so not even 0.5%, 0.4%. But one of the options, which I thought was a dead giveaway, was 8675309. Do you know how many comments I got for Jenny? Not one, y'all, not one. I was so disappointed. I was like, I put 8675309 as one of the options, and not a single person was like, Jenny. Anyways, I was like, am I just too old for this? I was so disappointed in people. I was like, really? No one? I thought it was funny. Okay. So automated is going to be obviously the way that they detect most of it, right? And the reason I'm telling you that is, 0.4% of the comments that were removed, humans, 99.6 automated. So when it comes to something like this as well, you're going to get mostly automation and then manual review for if you file the appeal, is what I'm trying to say. So the algorithms are algorithming in the background and analyzing patterns of behavior associated with invalid traffic, right? Such as things like you see in the bot click farm things, all that stuff, right? Then you have the manual review, which is that next step if you filled out the form. So human reviewers, they might investigate suspicious activity or review accounts and actions flagged first level of defense by automated systems, okay? So then the next step is going to be, they're going to refund the money to the people who advertised. And they're like, we're sorry, we're going to give you your money back. Like, please don't be mad at us. Please don't take your money away. Please still spend it with us. It's totally safe to spend your money on YouTube. I'm going to give you your money back because this was just a fluke. But we caught it. Bad creator. You guys fix it. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to tell you what video. I'm not going to tell you what we detected, but I'm going to say you did a bad thing. Okay? Hey! Alfredo Istic. It's great to see you. How are you? I love it. Stationary bike, burning calories. Love that. Love that for you. Okay. I love it. Good to see you. Then, after they have refunds, right? Because the advertisers are either saying, like, we're not going to spend our money. We want our money back. Or YouTube is just saying, here, we're sorry. Yes, this whole debacle, creator's fault. We're going to give you back your money. Because obviously you had nothing to do with this. Maybe you didn't even design this ad that was approved that like people can't click on. Anyways, I'm being snarky. Okay. And then the last thing is going to be the adjustment to the creator earnings, correct? The earnings that are attributed to any invalid traffic are going to be deducted. And because YouTube is paying 30 days in arrears or something like that, right? You do it and then you get paid for the month before. Sorry. They're going to take all that time to be like, you know what, Shelly? You don't deserve all that money that you think you earned from AdSense. We're going to take it back because you're doing bad things. You're doing invalid traffic things. We're not going to tell you which videos, but you're doing them. So maybe this will help you learn your lesson. We're going to take your money away. So how can creators avoid this, right? So it's saying follow YouTube policies, which most of the people who are on YouTube violate most of YouTube's policies all the time. So again, putting it back on the creators, meaning you should really know better. But even when you investigate, we're not going to help you with anything except a generic terms and condition type. But it's your responsibility, okay? And then the next thing is educate your audience. So you have to say to your audience, guys, gals, please don't purchase views for me. Please don't buy subscribers for me on my behalf. I don't want that, right? You actually have to scold your own audience, even though they may or may not be doing these things. And please don't get any ideas. No one in my audience go out there and buy. Something is beeping. I don't know what that is. Right? So if I have to be the one to say, like, Alfredoistic, please don't buy subscribers for me and please don't buy views for me. No bot farms for Shelly. Purchased by Alfredoistic, please. And thank you so much. Okay? So they're like, let's cover all our bases, okay? The next thing is you have to monitor your own traffic. So what I find funny about this is how many creators, first of all, are scared by their own analytics in the first place, right? Just like when I opened up After Effects and I was like, nope, not for me. Just like when I open up sometimes advanced mode of analytics, I'm like, I wish Gwen were here to help me because she's a data goddess and I don't understand what I'm looking at. But I'm supposed to evaluate my own traffic. Okay, the creator. So you have to look at it and you have to keep an eye on things that are unusually spiking. This is one, assuming that a creator knows how and understands what their analytics mean and can look for weird spikes and variations from normal. Wow, YouTube, you're putting a lot of trust and faith in the creator, okay? That usually isn't the case, okay? Then, you're supposed to use legitimate promotion methods. So what they mean is don't use third-party people, don't use SEO people, don't purchase your own views and bots and stuff like that. So don't hire someone off Instagram to come boost your views, whatever boosting your views means, right? So all of this to say, we're still not going to provide any clarity. But these are the things that and the steps that you have to take. All right. So invalid traffic is a serious concern for YouTube because they're losing millions upon billions of dollars, which means creators are losing millions upon millions of dollars as well. Okay. So there has to be like the happy medium because again, what I keep seeing is that advertisers don't mind spending money if the return is correct. There's one. We have to take out bad apples that are doing things like doing the reuse content, that are buying clicks and bots and views and subscribers from nefarious sources. And we have to provide transparency to the people who genuinely are confused and want to do better. We have to, because so many people are left head scratching. And it's not just people who are like, we've got educators, like I said, Nick Nimmin is getting it. We have people like, I know Meredith Marsh had gotten one. I know for a fact she's not out there buying views. And so like, why is she getting hit? What is happening? Like, how is this happening? So let's talk a little bit about the invalid traffic. Comments, questions, concerns. What do we have? Have you experienced, can we start a poll? Can I start a poll? No, maybe if I go to it on the web. Hold please. Let me come over here and mute this site. Come over to my own channel. And I'm going to start a poll. Plus, start a poll. Have you been hit with invalid traffic on your YouTube channel? So I'm starting this poll. Vote in it. Okay, let me know. I want to hear your answers and see your answers. now I want to go over here. Okay, let me see if I can find this information about, I know I had it. Oh, I'm pretty sure I saved it as a screenshot, like I said. Let me pull this up here. Sorry, I don't have any great music. So there was Ted Anderson had talked about this, and I digress. Let me roll backwards. One of the latest exchanges that I saw on Twitter X was from Nick Nimmin going back and forth with Renee Ritchie, the YouTube creator liaison. And so Nick was saying he had gotten hit again with the invalid traffic, and it was, he said, the third time. So we know, okay, the people in this chat, we know that Nick Nimmin is not out here doing that. But let's talk about this. He says, I got another in quotes, invalid traffic notice yesterday. Just had another creator reach out to me that's taken a severe monetization hit due to the same issue but can't get help. This has been going on for quite some time with a lot of creators, so stop giving canned responses. Give us someone to talk to, or at least know what videos it's happening on so we can delete or modify them, right? So Renee comes back and says, thanks, Nick. I've shared this with the team. It is the single thing I've spent the most time working on since joining YouTube. Invalid traffic is essentially a highly adversarial, highly motivated attack on the AdSense system, and advertisers won't pay out for it, so there's no money there for anyone. And the defenses are necessary to keep system viable for all creators, but please keep feedback coming, right? So then he says, thanks for sharing. They need to let us know what video triggers it, and they have this information. I agree. I completely agree with this. And says a blanket notification isn't helpful to anyone. I agree with that too. And he says, I did a quick search and people have been making videos about this for at least 8 months. That is also true. Okay. And he's like, I don't need AdSense to make money, which is why I don't complain too much. But a creator friend who does is getting hit with this, and she's getting zero support outside of canned responses. And she's generated over 1 million for YouTube over her time on the platform. This sends a pretty bad message to her that YouTube could care less about her and her contribution as a creator, right? So Baked, which is James RYT, says it's been a thing for much longer than 8 months. We got hit with it 2 years ago on a channel. 2 years ago, okay? And it's just, it's highly frustrating, I'm sure, for all of the creators involved. And I think poor Renee would get roasted sometimes on, I've seen it in the past on Twitter, where people are like attacking him as if he's the one handing out the checks for AdSense, and he's certainly not. And he's just like, you know, having to be the liaison between the two. And so it's his job to notify the powers that be about these issues that creators are having. But when you have notified the powers that be, he can't do the solution. You know what I mean? So people are like thinking that this one-on-one tweet or something is going to help fix their problem and eradicate all of this from happening. It's not. And people were like, this isn't a bug, you know, this is a major problem. And because there's no clear answer from YouTube, it's just got a lot of people very, very frustrated, because when you mess with people's creativity, time, and money, all of a sudden it becomes, yes, like you said, highly adversarial. And so Opus Clip, whoever's running that, said, what generally triggers this issue? And Nick summed it up. He's like, we don't know, and that's the problem, right? This has been going on for a long time. It's nearly impossible for creators to get any information or help. That is correct. Everything that I read to you was basically from the YouTube help article and a chat GPT that I had created, which is scouring the internet looking for what could be going on with invalid traffic. And even that is still not very specific enough, right? And I'm trying to give you guys some information, but I'm just like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So it says, I don't understand why external traffic hurts your channel if people are coming to YouTube creators. That is a good thing, right? And so Nick does clarify. He's like, the traffic isn't the issue. The issue is that something is triggering the ad system to flag views as invalid, and for some reason, no one knows the reason why. And so there's two parts of that to unpack. So one of them is traffic from outside of YouTube being brought into YouTube because of you, that is a positive signal to YouTube. So that part is correct. That is correct. But as people are watching, what is happening in their viewer behavior that is then triggering these false ads or triggering these false interactions with the ads to get traffic violations? So I would want to know, like, where is the traffic coming from? Is it majority out of a specific country? Is it like just some transparency? Is it a specific video? Could we private this video? And then someone, I was reading it, they said we like had privated the video and they said we were still getting invalid traffic. And they're like, how? You can't even get views on these videos, right? So I don't know if they were saying they privated every video on their channel, but they're like, how can we still be getting invalid traffic if we can't get traffic on private videos unless someone obviously has the email, right? So let's see here. So someone had said the fourth time and my channel had been getting 431,000 monthly views and traffic, but yet 100 views from an external traffic are enough to ruin my earnings on YouTube for months. This is just a full on, okay, I'm going to say that, but anyways, and saying, yes, it's impacting smaller channels. And someone was saying, yeah, is there the ability to disable your video to be shown as ads, something like that. Also, you can disable your videos from being embedded on web pages. And Renee did come back and say, for what it's worth, if you ever see FWIW, I had to explain that to someone the other day because they were like, I don't know what that is. I had to look it up and I was like, oh, industry jargon, sorry. But it said, for what it's worth, we haven't found any connection between videos being used as ads or being embedded in external websites. So I thought that was interesting to say because at least that was something, right? We haven't heard that yet. So Colin Michael had come out and said, we need transparency and real communication. And I do agree with that. Oops. And our friend Doug Hewson had said, yes, we need better communication, the loss of advanced features. The latter comes as a punishment for doing something, but you don't know what that something is. It's like a community guideline strike without any clarity, right? So Shannon Morse, you guys know her as Snubs, maybe with the purple hair online. She says, if this happens to me again, because it has already happened to her, I'm going to promote Patreon more and try to get more of my own sponsorships because YouTube wants to play games. I'll make sure they don't give any percentage of my money, right? So someone else chimed in and said thousands of dollars they've lost over the last 6 months. There's been no answer. And then another person said, I got hit for the fourth time since August. Now I just consider the normal revenue periods as the unexpected bonus. And then there was a person who said, we've been waiting since September. We put in our form for the appeal and that they haven't heard. So nothing. And then someone said they lost 80% of their revenue when it happened to them in November. They went back and forth with Google and YouTube support for weeks. It came back about a month after they'd given up and they still never provided any clarity why, but they didn't change anything. So it's really, really it's really confusing for the people who are in the thick of it. And some people I know were like, we haven't changed anything, but all of a sudden the invalid traffic warning went away. I know that happened to like Meredith Marsh. And I know that Daniel, when he had started a document, he had like collected 200 YouTube channels that had all been hit with invalid traffic of some sort, right? So someone said it took them 5 to 6 weeks to resolve and the channel was gone. And then someone had said, okay, but you're flagging the entire channel instead of just flagging videos where it might be happening. So he's like, I don't know. I've got like a whole bunch of videos. Can you not just turn off traffic on the ones that you think are invalid? Or why are you saying only on my channel? That's the whole lack of transparency thing, right? And someone said they think eventually YouTube will get sued. We'll see about that. And then let's see if I missed any of the other things. They banned our AdSense for being a related account, but our business only has one account. Oh no. Okay, I'm hit with invalid traffic again. Round 2, going on 2 months now. And then there was a thing that says experiencing issues with the systems for real-time data, and it can cause inaccurate view counts. Okay, that's not anything new. AdSense banned them and their YouTube account. Yep. Oh, this is the one. He says, I resorted to putting every single one of my videos on private, and a month later, support told me they still detect invalid traffic. Like, how? There can be no traffic. So, and someone is blaming courses. I don't know about that. Invalid traffic. I'm going through this too. You know what? I've seen that channel before. I've seen her. She says, I'm going through this too. I'm making about 40% of what I did the same time last year. Chat support admits that they are suppressing revenue and views, yet offer no solution. You would think they would want to help the people making them money. Yep. Anyways, so I'm going to come look at your guys's and gals' poll. Can I see anything about the poll? Oh, I would love to hear from the people, the 40% that said that they have gotten hit with invalid traffic. Will you tell me about that? What's going on with that? What happened to you? What happened to you? Maybe the platform got hacked and we don't know what happened. Man. Right? And it's like, we just don't know anything about what's really happening. And that's what's like most concerning. Like, let's see here. I want to talk about invalid traffic from I want to search for, I know Daniel had talked. Daniel _ Patel. That's it. Daniel _ Patel. Let's look at this real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So he says, I just saw another hardworking YouTube channel content creator with over 400,000 subscribers hit with invalid traffic, and almost 90% of his revenue is gone indefinitely. So that was in October of 2023. So that was, you know, what are we in? March? So that's 5-6 months ago. So another thing that he said was, third-party purchase views and fake engagement. What stops anyone from going to Fiverr, spending a few bucks, and launching a weaponized attack on creators? Absolutely. So attacks that could potentially cost us money, and of course, you know, they're saying diversify and So there are people chiming in saying that absolutely, like, that's that whole involuntarily, unbeknownst to you, these things happening, right? They said that they reported it. They were attacked, basically, and people losing their AdSense accounts. So and then I want to see what else he had said about it. Dun, 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 dun. It's me again. And so he's been talking about this. So another in October, in relation to the question of invalid traffic, he continues to give us information on what we should or should not be doing, but make sure that you're following him. Yes. 5 years ago, that's the first time a YouTube content creator reached out to me with an AdSense suspension due to invalid traffic. So he was saying he's starting to see some of it happening in his coaching clients. Yeah, so he started saying this. Anyways, I'd love to know if you have thoughts, questions, concerns about this, because I feel like it's not something that's going to get solved overnight. It's not something that gets solved out loud, but it is just something that is affecting a lot of people, and people are just not sure what to do about it. And that's all I can say. So if anything, I would just want to let you know that, one, diversify, right? Because you can never, if you were only going whole hog on YouTube and then you get hit with invalid traffic, and let's say you lose 80 to 90% of your revenue and you don't get it back. If you quit your day job, and this is your day job, if you hired teammates, if you hired, editors and people, like, they're going to want their money still, right? Because they're still working and doing a job, just like you doing videos. You want your money. And if you are left with only 20% of your revenue, that's going to be really, really hard for a lot of people to keep going, to keep paying out people. So I'd love to hear comments, questions, concerns on that. Also, just special shout out again to all of my channel members, because with the channel members, you'll start seeing a lot more of the, like I said, the channel member only shorts coming out. So if you have something that you want me to answer for you, please leave it like on that community post, or like just leave it on a video so I can see it and actually answer it for you. And I did link, I said the form, I will come back and link it as well. And then I'll also link the help article. I know it's not helpful to most people, but at least as a resource to have it, to the article that I was reading. I don't know if I can copy and paste. Maybe I can copy and paste the ChatGPT response into my description box. But the problem with that is going to be that it will probably surely go over the 5,000 character limit. So I will see how much of it I can paste, and then otherwise I might have to do it as a channel comment. So Pixel P says, it affects channels that I would never think of doing something illegal on the platform, which makes it so strange. Exactly. So especially like when you see someone like a Nick Nimmin or like a Meredith Marsh hit with something like that, and you're like, no, there's no way. There's just no way. So it's one of those, like, if they're getting hit, like, make it make sense, So I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and in your time. I don't take you for granted. I'll see you guys not next Thursday though, because I will be in New Orleans, or New Orleans, however you say it, on a trip. But I am going to be back on Friday morning, and I'm going to live stream on Friday night. So I don't usually live stream on a Friday night. I usually leave that to Viper. But I will be streaming next Friday because I will be in New Orleans on Thursday, flying back Friday. So I will live stream on Friday evening. So I will want to chat with you. And if you are around on Friday evening, please come hang out with me and chat with me. We could talk about whatever you want to. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a great weekend, and thank you for your time. Bye, everyone.